So before we go to our regular announcements, I'll start. This is from Vice Chair Woodcock and myself. So it has been, Vice Chair Woodcock, and my pleasure to be the student trustee mentors for this past year and to work alongside the two amazing student trustees, Kenzy and Vaishnavi Reina. Student trustee Sora was first elected as a student trustee in 2021 and re-elected in 2022 for her second term. Her goals were to make student senate meetings and student trustee elections more inclusive, bringing more student voice and participation to both. Student trustee Sora and former student trustee Vishkin invited all students in grades 7 to 12 to the new student roundtable. At these roundtables, every student in attendance could ask questions and provide input on the topic at hand. This new format provided more opportunities for the student trustees for students and staff more opportunities for the student trustees and staff to hear from a diverse group of students. In September 2022, the newly elected student trustee Reina, student trustee Sora and Reina advocated, researched, and participated in many meetings to create a new process for the student trustee elections. This new process, begun by student trustee Sora and Vishkin, allows every secondary student the opportunity to vote in the election of student trustees. Previously, student trustees were elected by our student senate members only. This year, the WRDSB held its first open election where every secondary student was eligible to vote for their student trustees. Together, student trustees Sora and Reina won the 2023 Ontario Public Student Trustee Leadership Scholarship from OPSPA for this work. Also this year, student trustee Reina and Sora organized roundtables on topics such as mental health, youth engagement in politics, and equity and inclusion. This included our first ever hybrid roundtable where students could attend in person or virtually, making these meetings even more accessible and inclusive. In addition to their work on these projects, as student trustee Reina and Sora also served on the EIAG, Policy Working Group, and Tim Walker Memorial Award committees, as well as participating in many of the trustee professional development opportunities made available throughout the year. All this while also managing a very heavy school workload, community engagements, and extracurricular activities. Through their advocacy, they brought the student voice and perspective to the board table, reminding all of us why we're here, to support all WRDSB students as they become citizens of tomorrow. Looking ahead, in the fall, Kenzy will be pursuing a double degree in computer science and business administration through the University of Waterloo in conjunction with Wilfrid Laurier University. She plans to keep advocacy and empowering her community front and center on her agenda and continue to broaden the scope of her investigation on issues of equity and representation in the realm of public education. Also in the fall, Vaishnavi will be off to the University of Ottawa to study political science to continue advocating for the rights of silenced voices. She believes that everlasting change starts with hearing the minority voices in the government. She will also continue her involvement with Air Cadets in Ottawa. We want to thank student trustee Reina and Sora for all they've done to support WRDSB students. We will miss their voices at the table, and we wish them all the best as they move on to their post-secondary endeavors. Congratulations and thank you. Student trustee Sora, would you like to go first to say a few words? Yeah. And then we'll do the presentation of the plaques after you both had an opportunity.
Perfect. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Vice Chair Woodcock. Through you, I believe, quote, I believe that student trustee is the next step I can take towards ensuring that all students of all backgrounds, thoughts, and needs in the Waterloo Region District School Board are given the opportunity to have a voice, speak, and in turn be seen, unquote. This was an excerpt from my student trustee application back in 2021. 2 years later, 2 terms later, and as I turn over the page on this quest, I look back with nothing but pride and gratitude on one of the most rewarding, albeit challenging, experiences any student advocate could have. I do have a few words of gratitude, beginning with everyone who has been helping us on our quest to ensure that students come first, each and every one. From the trustees to the superintendents, administrators, teachers, and staff, it has been a pleasure to work with you these past 2 years. Thank you for the opportunity to witness firsthand the will of the institution to do good and make real changes. To Student Trustee Reina, you are the best co-student trustee I could ever ask for. I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to amplify student voice with you this past year, all the while getting to know you like a sister. To incoming student trustees Casper and Abdullah, I'm so excited about what you're going to bring to the position next year. I have no doubt in your abilities to build on what was achieved and leave a lasting impact on student representation at WRDSB. Hopefully, the grown-ups on the interwebs are a little more kind to you this time around. Granted, once you use your voice and speak, some not so nice people will start to see you as a personification of the things they fear the most, and consequently do and say not so nice things. To those people, I say, words have power, so know better, be better, and that I remain, as the majority of the student body that I represented for the last 2 years, a minor under 18. To the students of WRDSB, I'm so honored that you entrusted me with this position for 2 years in a row. Keep dreaming big, keep breaking down boundaries, and never let anyone tell you that you aren't good enough for something or that you don't belong somewhere. WRDSB students, it was, is, and always will be a pleasure to serve you. Now I would like to leave you all with this. Someone asked me last week whether I feel like the board has students' backs, and my answer was, we are WRDSB, and this board, its actions or lack of, is a byproduct of our indulgence in board affairs or lack of. If you see something you like, use your voice and stand with it. If you see something you don't, use your voice and stand against it. Use your voice, speak, and be seen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Student Trustee. Student Trustee Reina.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Chair. Thank you and Vice Chair Woodcock for your kind words. Yeah, this year has been a roller coaster of emotions, not just because of my role as student trustee, but also finishing up high school, moving on. It's been full of hard decisions, and this week especially has been full of a lot of goodbyes and farewells. But the way I see it, yeah, you guys are not rid of me just yet. I will always call and text, and I will always try and keep up with what this board is doing. I've seen throughout this year amazing things from this board. I've seen a lot of us go through some hard times and come out on top. And I know that this board will keep advocating for student voice. And I really hope that I get to see some of the meetings in the future. And I'll leave it here. I said this before, but I'll say it again. And I said it in a different speech, but I'll say it again. In my language of Hindi, there is no word for farewell. We say "Fir milenge," which means we will see you again. And so "Fir milenge," I really hope I will see you again. And yeah, it's sad, but I won't say goodbye just yet. Thank you.
And we have some plaques to present to the two of you. If we want to come around the front. We didn't.
He was here.
Oh, what? You want to come up and we'll grab a picture, guys? Do you want your plaque? Oh, yeah. We'll do the.
There's so many.
Yeah. Okay.
Just looked in.
Are there any other announcements this evening? Student Trustee SWRIL?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, I do have 3 board activities to celebrate tonight. First, on June 13th, I had the pleasure of participating in the Smart Waterloo Region Innovation Lab 2023 GIMI Impact Training Pitch Day. It's a bit of a mouthful, but after weeks of training using the GIMI Innovation Framework, students from 6 high schools across WRDSB, Cameron Heights, Elmira, Jacob Hespler, Southwood, Waterloo, Oxford, and WCI gathered together to pitch SWRIL's innovation team many pilot ideas that could change lives to make Waterloo the best region it can be. We also had a presentation from Overlap Associates on chronic homelessness before being split into teams to prototype solutions for destigmatizing homelessness. And 2 teams with the most innovative idea and the best prototype were awarded prizes. Overall, it was a very valuable and rewarding experience. Now on June 15th, I was delighted to attend Cameron Heights 2023 UNITAS, which was a wonderful success. This celebration of diversity featured cultural performances, dances, music, and vendors, bringing members of the community together to promote inclusivity for all. Thank you very much to everyone who helped make this night and the entire CHCI Multicultural Week possible, and for reminding us all that what brings us together is so much more than what sets us apart. Finally, with the help of Cameron Heights Radio Room, I officially launched CHCI's Hear Us Sing on June 14th. Hear Us Sing is an initiative to build a multicultural repertoire for CHCI's lunchtime music that represents its diverse student and staff populations from all around the world. Almost 100 songs were recommended by students and staff all across the school, and each day we make our way through a few of them. I'm very excited that this initiative will be continuing at Cameron Heights next year, and hope that every school in WRDSB will eventually launch its own Hear Us Sing, recognizing and celebrating the diverse cultures and backgrounds that its staff and students bring with them. Thank you.
Student Trustee SWRIL?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This question does involve a bit of context. So through you, the Diplôme d'études en langue française, or the DELF, is an international certification awarded by the French Ministry of National Education. A couple of weeks ago, I reached out to the board with a concern from DELF eligible students who missed the WRDSB's DELF assessment for reasons related to a lack of communication from their schools or even scheduling conflicts with exams for IB students. The board has since promptly replied to my inquiry, indicating that the 2023 DELF exam schedule was communicated to each school's administrators, language department heads, and language teachers on January 26th. As for IB students, because both DELF exams and IB exams are set by entities external to the board, it was indicated that there isn't that much the board can do about scheduling conflicts, and it's up to the student to decide if they are to forfeit one for the other or take the DELF outside of WRDSB, which costs about $200 plus travel expenses. As a follow-up, I note here as a student at Cameron Heights that I have received no formal communication this year from the school about the 2023 DELF exam sign-up deadlines or the actual dates. In fact, aside from KCI's website, all the searching that I executed on the websites of other WRDSB schools returned no results regarding the DELF more recent than 2020 on communication and news feeds. Though I note here that, aside from CHCI, there was no way for me to verify if other methods of communication were used to deliver the news to other high schools. For some, students mentioned they were informally informed in class about the exam. I also failed to find any news regarding the 2023 DELF on WRDSB's own board website. Lack of communication aside, in the reply to me, the board acknowledged the lack of equity that this problem presents to the IB students at WRDSB. They also mentioned solutions they are looking into, such as a fall session for students who have their grade 12 French credit in semester 1. My 2-part question to staff is thus, is there any way to use a more robust communication method to students regarding the DELF exams in future years? And would it be possible to look into more short-term remedies, like offering a refund for students who take the exam on their own, or allowing them an eligibility period that extends for a year after graduation so they can make use of the free assessment that WRDSB locally conducts? Thank you.
Superintendent Hill.
Through the chair to respond to the trustee's question. Pardon me. We can always look at ways to communicate that better. We thought the most direct and enthusiastic response would come from communicating directly to schools and French programs and French teachers who would be happy to share with students enrolled in these courses. But we can always look at other methods of sharing that information. In terms of extending the eligibility, unfortunately, we don't have the power to extend the eligibility as we don't set the criteria. And the government is very clear that students must write the exam in the year in which they are enrolled in the French courses. And that is not something we have under our control. Pardon me.